Namaste, my name is Barsha and I'm here with INNJA Network. I have Sunil Dai on camera, and today I have Mr. Scott DeLisi, the former U.S. Ambassador to Nepal and Uganda under President Obama. He's also the founder of Engage Nepal, and he's very active in helping the Nepali community in Nepal and in the U.S. So let's hear a little bit more about Mr. Scott and his time in Nepal and the foundation Engage Nepal he's working with. Hi, Mr. Scott, how are you?
Hey, Barsha, how are you?
Very
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you. So you served as the U.S. Ambassador to Nepal from 2010 to 2012.
That's right.
In Nepal. What was your time like?
Well, my time was great, but my connections to Nepal go back even further. I first went to Nepal in 1982. I was serving in Bombay, India. It was still Bombay at that time. And it was my first posting in the Foreign Service, and I had some friends who were at the embassy in Kathmandu. So we went to Kathmandu, we went to visit, and what an incredible experience that was. And that's what began this love affair with Nepal. But, you know, Kathmandu was very different in those days. You know, there wasn't the traffic that we see today. So there weren't the motorcycles everywhere. Swayambhu was this beautiful place surrounded by rice paddies. It was green and it was lush. We don't see it quite the same way today. It's still beautiful, still striking, but so Nepal has changed, but the spirit that I saw when I went there first really touched me. Then I went back a few years later when I was the desk officer for Nepal in the State Department. And I had a chance to travel a bit more broadly on that trip. And I was in the Terai, we drove up to Kathmandu, and along the way you would stop and we would meet people and we'd spend time. What struck me, you could go to a village, and no matter how poor the people might be, how little they might have, their hearts were open. They were always so generous, and they'd always say, "Oh, come have dal bhat." You know, they'd share no matter what. And this began to tell me the story about who these people in Nepal were. So, and then I traveled back a few times over the years, and then so by the time I went as ambassador, I wasn't a stranger to Nepal. And I was just so deeply excited to be going back and to have a chance to represent my nation, you know, and engaging with the people of Nepal. And during that time, we traveled broadly. And we loved it. We loved Nepal. We loved everything we saw. We went trekking up in Solukhumbu. We were up in Upper Mustang trekking. We were all across the length and breadth of Madesh. We were in the mid-hills. You know, we saw a lot of the country. In the east, in Elam and tea country. We did it so much. And everywhere you went, you were struck by the beauty of Nepal, right? And people have heard me say this before, but it's true. I mean, that beauty is a feast for our eyes, for our senses. It's gorgeous. And everywhere we went, we saw this tremendous cultural diversity that was Nepal. And we realized there's so much to learn. Each community had its own story, its own history, its own traditions. And that was a challenge and a feast in its own way for our intellect. But everywhere you went, you also met people who were compassionate, who were tolerant, who were just resilient and thoughtful and kind. And they touched your heart. And that's what captures you. And that was what defined our time in Nepal. I think that's what, for many people who visit Nepal, that's what you come away with. It's not just the mountains, you know, they're great. I mean, they're fantastic. You know, the beauty of the country on every level. But it's the people of Nepal. That's the nation's secret weapon. You know, and so for me, that was fantastic. And during my 2 years as ambassador, or 2 plus, it was 800 days. My wife counted every one, I think. Yeah, she'll say 2 years, 2 months, 10 days. We got cut short because I was asked to go to Uganda. But for every one of those days, we found things of value, of beauty. We learned, we grew, and we built partnerships. And they endure today. And that chance to serve my nation, but to do it in a country that we came to truly care about and to try together to build a future, that was a good thing too.
So you've seen the beauties of Nepal. You've gone to many different areas where a lot of people from Nepal may not have had a chance to go, and you've seen a lot, and you've seen the beauty, but also the poverty, the challenges that people face every day, and that has encouraged you until today to go back and help these people through your foundation. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, for us, the foundation actually began, it was created, I was still ambassador in Uganda at the time it was created. It was created before the earthquakes in 2015, but not long before. And its initial purpose, its focus was on risk reduction and preparedness. And that was something that I had looked at very much when I was ambassador. I went to Nepal shortly after the earthquakes in Haiti in 2010. 234,000 people died in Haiti. We spent $1 billion as a nation in the first 6 months after Haiti trying to provide relief. And everybody around the world, we all said, oh my God, what a horrible tragedy. This is so bad, how can we help? What can we do? And we would text 1-800-HAITI and give $10. That was great. We're compassionate people, we care. But the time to act, if you really care, the time to act isn't after everyone's dead. The time to act is when we can still make a difference, when we can save some of those lives that would otherwise be lost, when we can prepare to have a different outcome. And President Obama said, before I went to Nepal, they said, no more Haitis. I was going to one of the most seismically prone countries in the world. So I spent the better part of my time in Nepal building partnerships that were directed at these issues of disaster risk reduction and preparedness. And we did some good work, and I'm really proud of what we did. And I know we saved lives when the earthquakes hit in 2015. I was gone by then, but the work that we had put in place, I know, saved lives, made a difference. So the foundation was created to continue that work. But when I retired in 2015, this was after the earthquakes had hit, and the foundation was still new, and the direction wasn't entirely clear. And I was asked if I would lead the foundation. And I said, okay. But, so we began that work, and we said, what are we gonna do? And the risk reduction and preparedness still mattered, and we did work. We worked with groups on rebuilding homes. We worked with a group, Mission Rebuild Nepal, and we contributed. We helped to fund some of the, not many, but a few, because it's a step. Every little bit helps, right? Even if it's one home, it's one family you've helped. We did what we could with the resources we had. We helped rebuild a school in Sindapalchok. We were a partner in doing that, and that's all good. But you realize that as important as safe homes are, or safe schools, they're tremendously important. But our work needed to be more than just that. We needed to help communities to be stronger and more resilient on many levels. And people can't begin to address these questions of how do I make my house safer, my family safer, my future better, if their voices aren't heard, if they don't have an income, if they don't have opportunity, if they don't have the education, if they don't have the resources. And we realized that the work of preparedness had to be more than just about infrastructure. It had to be about people. And there's so much need. And you're right, there's tremendous need. And we can't do everything. Nobody can. But we can make a difference. And even if we make a difference for whether it's 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, yes, there are many people that we haven't reached. But we've reached the ones we've reached. We've made a difference for them. We begin to change things. And even though our projects at times may be smaller, when I was ambassador, we had millions of dollars, right? Huge projects. I don't have that. I used to have a great fundraiser. It was called the Internal Revenue Service, and they did a great job. Don't have them. But now, when we do a project, we see the impact, and it can be a catalyst, because if we do a good project in one village for one school, their neighbors may look and they say, look what they did in that village. We can do that too. And they can. And this is the thing, we can be transformational. We can be a catalyst with the efforts that we make and with the partnerships that we build. We just have to be dedicated and consistent and engaged. So that's what we do. We engage in Nepal.
So the name in itself, Engage Nepal, is very catchy. How can us as a Nepali that are living in other parts of the world or within Nepal can be more engaged with Nepal, and how can we make a difference in people's lives?
You know, it's a fair question. Lately, at the bottom of a lot of the things that we're writing, a lot of the appeals we're doing, we're just posing a question right along the bottom of the page. How can you change the world? And each one of us can change the world. Whether it's within our families, within our communities. We don't all have an international stage to stand on. You don't need that. It begins with you. It begins with how are you going to engage? Who are you going to, how do you reach out? What can you do? What can you bring to the table? And so people say, how can we help your foundation? See, yeah, we don't have big offices in Nepal. I don't have 30 people working in Nepal. We don't have anybody working in that's not our model. We don't have 20 salaries that we're paying. We don't do that. I don't have Land Rovers running around the countryside of Nepal with, Engage Nepal on the side. It'd be great advertising, but we don't need that. We've got partners on the ground in Nepal. So people say, well, can I help? Well, maybe, but I would need them to reach out to our partners, for example. Because we work through partners on the ground. We work through organizations and people that we know, that we trust, who share our commitment to both engagement, but also to being transparent and accountable. Because we have to be able to show people that what we're doing is having an impact and where their money goes. We owe that to the people who are willing to support us. So we work through these partners. So I always tell them, well, if you're going to be in Nepal, you want to talk to our partners, maybe they need a volunteer. But oftentimes, maybe they don't. These are good organizations, they're well established, they've got the trust of the communities they work in, they know the needs of their communities, and they act. And good for them. So for us at this end, I always say there are a lot of ways people can help though. If people have got skills. I need content for our blogs. If people want to write posts, if they want to tell me why they engaged Nepal, they want to start a contest online and the best entry, give me your ideas about how can you help us? What can we do? This is the pleasure of being a small organization. We're tremendously flexible. We can create what we want to create. We can try things. People say to me, well, this may seem like a crazy idea, and maybe it is, but why not try it? Let's try it. We can afford to do it. I don't have a huge board of 500 people and lawyers and all the rest saying, oh, well, we have to review this in 20 ways. So we're flexible enough that we can experiment, we can engage, we can do what we can. But if people really want to know how they can help, I know they probably hate hearing this, it's money. We can't do, none of us can make a difference without resources. This isn't what I do, this isn't what Engage Nepal does, this is what our donors do. Because it's only possible because of them. And when people give us, when people donate, they can donate for specific projects, they can donate generally to our organization, but we'll tell them, we'll show them the impact they're having. We've got a long, long list of projects. And I'm kind of impressed. I'm kind of proud of all that we have done and that we can show for this. But we've got a program, for example, I think one of the most, that I hope people would listen to or think about. A lot of folks came to me early on and they said, oh, Excellency, you love Nepal. Oh, thank you for what you're doing. And I'd say, yes, I'm happy to do it, thank you. Yeah. And they say, oh, I really would like to help. I say, but we're an immigrant community. I haven't been here that long. I can't write you a check for $500 or $1,000. I say, I get that. I really do. My grandparents were immigrants to the United States. I get that. I know what that immigrant experience. I've seen it unfold in my own family. But I asked them, can you do $5 a month? Can you do $10 a month? That's 33 cents a day. $10 is 33 cents a day. If you walk into McDonald's, you're going to drop $10 without even thinking twice. If you walk into Starbucks and get a couple of coffees and a muffin, you're out $10 or more. $10 a month. People say, well, but that's nothing. What can you do with $10 a month? I can do a ton with $10 a month. If I had 20 people in each state in America who were willing to give me $10 a month for Nepal, we could not only sustain our foundation and guarantee our continued engagement, we would have tens of thousands of dollars at the start of every year to put into the field before we even do fundraising, before we even sought a grant. That's what $10 a month can do if we get enough people doing it, even $5 a month. Some people have been very kind and have given 15, 20, we've even got a few people who've committed to $50 a month. It's not about the amount, it's about caring, it's about the commitment. People want to know what they can do, they can care. But it's not, let me change that, they can act. Lots of people care, and they tell you how much they care about this, but translating that caring into action. But there are other things, as I say, we need skills. If people, I could always use a good accountant, because I have to do an annual review. We do an annual review of our books, an annual audit, because it's important. We have to do it for the IRS, for all the states we're registered in. We need to show that we're being responsible and accountable. But that can cost a couple $1,000. If there was a good accountant in the Nepali community who said, I can do this, I could do that pro bono. That's great, because that's $2,000 that I now can put into a project in Nepal rather than paying for professional services. But I'll pay for those services otherwise, because we have to do it. We have to be accountable and responsible. So people can offer services in kind. They can donate, and our website is easy. It's very easy, as you know. We've got plenty of ways that people can donate. We have our specific projects. They can look on our Facebook page, which is Engage Nepal on Facebook. We have now just created a Facebook group called the Engage Nepal Forum. And this is a private group, but just ask to be included, and we'll include you in the group. We just ask no politics, no nonsense, no promotion of it's about Nepal. And we use this as a forum, as I say, it's the Engage Nepal Forum, where people can talk and share ideas and think about what we can build for Nepal, what we can do together, answer questions. And it's a venue where we hope to share even more information, maybe have a few special deals for our committed partners in Nepal. So become part of the Engage Nepal Forum. Follow us on Facebook. Go to our webpage, www.engagenepal.org. Very easy. Now, we've got all of these things, and all of them will have links that will take you to our donation pages, and we've got projects you can support in education. We've got projects that you can support in health, in livelihoods, in ecotourism, and all sorts of things. We want to make a difference, and we are. But so I'm really proud of what we've done. But at the same time, I've got a list of projects for next year that's getting longer every time I turn around. And they're good projects, and they get better. We're finding that the folks we're working with or who are coming to us are bringing us really good quality projects. The sort of thing that when we were doing USAID and all the rest, we'd say, that's well designed, that's a good project, but I gotta fund them. Nah, we've gotta try to fund them, and we will. We're gonna do as much as we can. Every year we do. Every year we've been able to put more money into the field. This year, my first year with Engage Nepal, I think we were able to put about $12,000 into the field and projects. So I was proud of that, because it was hard to get that $12,000. The next year it was $18,000. Last year it was $50-some thousand. This year, so far, we're at about $70,000 that we've been able to commit into the field, into changing lives, into having an impact on people. Next year, I hope we're going to be well over 100,000. We keep requesting grants. We keep looking for support. Just yesterday, though, it was kind of fun. I was touched. I got a thank you note from 7 kids, 7 Tamang kids. They live in a village, Sulsing. It's in Sindupalchok. And these kids, so the village school was damaged in the earthquake to begin with. And they don't have a secondary school. These kids were about to begin secondary school. So we work in partnership. We're working with Anushka Shrestha, Miss Nepal World 2019. And she's committed to this project, and she's found a couple other partners, Seven Summit Foundation and a few others who are working with her, and so are we. So we funded the portion that said, so you got these 7 kids, and they're about to begin secondary school. But the secondary school, it's 4 hours from their village, a 4-hour walk. They can't walk 4 hours there and 4 hours back every day. So they weren't going to be able to go to school because their parents earn about $1 a day. Yeah, you just can't fund the scholarship, the lodging, and the expenses for these kids to go to school. We did. So for this next year, these 7 kids, they're going to get an education. I want to do it year on year. We aren't going to stop till they're graduates. That's our goal. But you're kind of touched when you get this little handwritten note from Savita and Dorje and Chiring and all the rest of the kids saying thank you. And we promise we're going to work really hard to be good students and to be good citizens of Nepal. So at the end of the day, that's 7 kids. Some people say, well, there's a ton of kids. Yes, there are. But we helped those 7. And there are other kids that we've helped as well this year. But we're going to help more because that's what we do. We engage, as they think, we engage Nepal. That's who we are.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. That is a genuine bote cooker from Upper Mustang. And he's saying, engage Nepal. This is important. Listen to what my partner Scott says. He's saying, engage Nepal. Listen, you speak.
yeah.
You know, I know you speak Nepali, but you may not speak the dialect that this dog speaks from the village of Shakri in Upper Mustang. But anyway, that's what he was saying. Yes.
This dog is very cute, and we'll show you
We'll introduce
the
him
dog
in a
in a
minute.
moment.
Sure.
But the $15 or the $20 that
I think he wants it to be 40 or 50.
40 or 50.
Yeah, okay.
We'll say 50 or 20, the smallest amount here that may not mean so much for us, at the end of the day makes a big difference in someone's life, and knowing that your money is going into someone's hand that's making a difference, that remembers these people that he's changed their lives by their names, and you know where your money is going. If you have it in your heart, and it is our responsibility for someone that has come so far from that, and it's a reality for where we come from, that there are kids that can't go to school unless it's a 4-hour walk each way every day. Walking to school for 8 hours, you can't get an education that way, and it's impossible.
And education, that's the key. It's transformative. This is what makes the difference. And again, just we begin with what we can do. But if each year we grow, and if each year we have the partnership of people in the community, we will touch more people, and we'll touch more and more. And let me be clear, this isn't a program where we give handouts to people. People don't want handouts.
No.
They want a hand in partnership. That's what we offer. All of our projects are done with communities, and the communities contribute, and they are part of this effort. They truly are, and this is something I'm very proud of as well. We did a program in Bharatnagar, a women's entrepreneurship program, and a group of women had a vision about how they could make a difference for their families, how they could really build something for their future, how they could know the pride of doing something for themselves. But they needed a little money to stake them. So a group of Nepalis in the community, they were willing to put some money forward. We at Engage Nepal, we helped to match it. We worked with a group here at International Development Institute. And together we put together a program, provided some of the training, some of the sewing machines. Yeah, it was a sewing, people say, everybody does that. Sure, everybody does it, but you know what? These women had a good idea, and they knew their market, and they did it well. And they had all these schools that they were producing uniforms for, and they did great. And we watched over 3 years. We donated a couple years to keep them going. Now they're sustainable. They're doing it themselves. And they've grown and grown, and I went down and I visited them, and one woman came up to me and I was so touched. We're sitting with a group of like 50 women, and they're beaming with pride because they knew the dignity of earning This was something they did for themselves. And one woman came up to me and she said, "Excellency," she said, "you know, I used to wait for my husband to go to India, and maybe he'd send back money for the school fees." She said, "Now I pay the school fees for my daughter." What a feeling that's got to be, right? For this woman, what a feeling that has to be. And what an example for her daughter. And this again, these are the partnerships that we can bring. These are the things that we can do. When we have helped the Nepal Ambulance Service continue to grow. Stanford University, we got good partners. Stanford University Medical School, that's a good partner. International Medical Corps and others. Now, the Nepal Ambulance Service was also a nonprofit in Nepal. Great support from the community. They are now operating throughout the country. We've just signed an MOU with the government for them to be the 911 number to do ambulance dispatch nationwide. They are training paramedics, and we've helped in particular with the training program. We now have all of these skilled, trained paramedics where there were none before. A lot of them are women. And not only, they save lives every day. They answer a call and they deliver a baby, or they help someone who's been injured in a car accident. They save lives, and you see the joy on some young man's face because they saved his father's life. But also now we've got 100, 200 skilled paramedics who in the next disaster are going to be there. They weren't there in the last disaster, but they know how to deal with trauma and emergencies. It's these sorts of partnerships we do so many different things. And so I've always been struck that our mission has increasingly diversified from this initial focus on kind of earthquake preparedness. So we still do stuff there too, we really do. But we realize that there's so many places where we can have an impact with good partners. But we need people to care. We need people to act. And we'll take one-time donations, we'll take checks. Some people say, "I don't want to do a credit card." Now listen, our credit card platform is safe, it is protected, it's all good, and it's an easy way to do it because you sign up once and $10 a month it's charged, nobody cares, you don't have to worry about it. I do it. I mean, I donate, to the, all of my board is donating. We're committed. We believe that if you are gonna ask other people to do it, you should do it too, so we do. But it's very, very easy. But if you don't like to do credit cards, we'll take a check. We'll do whatever works because this is what we do for Nepal. And this keeps me out of trouble and busy in my old age. So.
And we can all make a difference. Donating to the foundation is so easy. You can just go to the website and put in your information or mail a check or just any way you can help. I appeal to everyone watching this video. If you can, money is important, but if there is any other skills you can contribute to this foundation as well, please be involved. You know where your money is going. You have someone who is actively involved. He loves Nepal. He wants to help the people there. So please, I appeal to everyone watching this video.
You have done it. I know you have.
Took me a minute to do it. It's less than a minute. You put in your information, you can forget about it. Your money is going into a place where it can change people's lives. The 7 kids that are going to school now will carry that responsibility forward, or the women that are not relying on their husband anymore. They're teaching their community to grow up and be like them and make a difference. And a small amount, 33 cents a day isn't a lot. So please, let's, as a community, as individuals, as families, come together and help everyone and help make a difference in Nepal, and not just Nepal, but all around the world. But you have this foundation. You will get newsletters. You will get pictures of these people with the most beautiful smile you'll see. And you've made a difference in their life, and it's a good feeling. It is.
It's part of what keeps me going. It's seeing, when I was an ambassador, you'd get after you did a big project, you'd get a report. And it had a lot of statistics. It told us the number of households reached and everything, and it was very impressive, but it was a piece of paper. Now I get to see the smiles. So we have a children's home, a group of kids that we've been supporting. We have donors who support. who are great, dedicated to these kids. It's a home in Bhaktapur, 20 children. Because one of the donors cared enough, they got to go out on outings for Desai. And I've got pictures of the kids on the swings, of them out on the streets getting special treats, and the smiles on the faces of these children. And these are great kids. I've met them, I've been there. They're loving and wonderful children. And to see them growing in a family where they had none, this matters. Or to know we've got a project that's that we've worked on. We want to expand considerably in the Tsum Valley, where people, one of the most remote parts of Gorkha, the Sampa people do not have access to good medical care on a regular basis. Access was further disrupted by the quake. We now have electronic medical records for all of these people. We've begun to engage. We're trying to bring a telemedicine program there, working with the Ask Foundation, another good partner in Nepal, and with the Tsum Valley Medical Mission led by a wonderful nurse practitioner, advanced practice nurse practitioner here in the States. And together we can do good things. But we've got plans for a new project out there, but that's like $25,000. So I'm seeking grants, we're seeking support, we're gonna do it. We're going to find a way, I don't know quite how yet, but I have faith that we will do these things. But it doesn't just happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without that commitment you're talking about.
So, again, I want to request everyone, please help in any way you can. Money, skills, just getting the word out, sharing about the foundation or the work they've done, the links to donation, any way that we can help to change someone's life and make a difference in someone's life. It is so important, and we are blessed to have the platform that we do today, where we can stand and say I can support someone, or say I can help somebody. The little thing that makes someone's life better, it's rewarding. And let's come together and let's help more people, and let's change lives so that we can, maybe not everyone, or we can't reach everyone quite yet, but if we come together, not just 7 kids, we can touch more lives, and that's very important. So again, I appeal everyone watching this video, please donate or share the links, or any skills that you can bring on. Please help engage Nepal and help come together and raise awareness for the issues that still exist in the Nepali community, and let's change that, and let's touch more lives, and let's make a difference in our society. And thank you so much for the opportunity
It's
to
my
be
pleasure.
able to talk to you.
It's my pleasure. It was great to be with you this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.